First of all, what's your reaction that it's going to be Bromley tomorrow rather than Woking then?
I think equal sort of caution in terms of the threats of either team. I think you could say that, with all due respect, Woking looked like maybe their race had been run towards the end of that game with players going off injured, and they look very tired because they've had such a good season and given their all. People would say Bromley, I think that's 10 unbeaten and finding their form at the right time, and they're on a hell of a run. Look, when you do finish seventh, I know it was probably different for us last year because we fell away, but if you finish seventh against all odds, then it is like a bonus feeling, I suppose. I'm not saying Bromley feel like that at all. I'm not saying that, but you have got that almost free hit mentality without it being a free hit. So they'll come here as underdogs. I think Woking would have come here as underdogs. So that sort of theory doesn't change behind the mindset of the opposition. We're probably getting a team a little bit more on it at the minute in Bromley than Woking were. But, like I said the other day, we've got to show why we finished 13 or so points ahead of them. We've got to show why we finished third. And if it wasn't for the two teams above us that stormed it, we could have got automatic potentially, so shoulda, woulda, coulda. But so it's up to us. Like I always say to Liam, if we turn up and, we've got to make sure that it turns into a thriller for all the right reasons in our favour. But they're going to come here and give it their all. We know what a tough team Andy Woodman's team is, and it's going to be a real tough day. But if we do it right, hopefully we can make the town very, very happy.
You played them recently, of course, and lost 2-0 2 weeks ago. Does that count for anything tomorrow?
I want to say no. I think I'm going to say no, aren't I? Because it's you want to put that to bed. I think we know all season and all the days we're prepping now from. We know what their threats are. We know how good they are at certain things, and they've got some very talented players. I think we're all pleased that it's not away and it's not on the AstroTurf, and I mean that with the utmost respect, but it's a weapon for them. I think their own staff admitted it to us after the game, what a great weapon it is from that pitch at home, because they train on it every day. They know the bounce of the ball, etc. So I think there's going to be 9,500, whatever, obviously majority are fans, on a carpet of a pitch, and we want to play the way we want to play it, and hopefully Bromley will have to adjust to us, because we didn't and couldn't adjust to how they wanted the game to go at their place, and the result didn't lie. So we've got to make sure the result doesn't lie come tomorrow.
Was it nice being able to put your feet up, so to speak, in midweek and watch the playoff eliminators rather than be involved in them?
Yeah, it does. I suppose it gives you that one less game, and now they've won that game, then we're on a par, aren't we? It's all to play for. I think I saw Luke at Notts County say the other day that he doesn't see them as favourites for the playoffs. I tend to disagree with Luke on that one. I think they've had such a good season, and they'll probably be favourites to go up and win at Wembley to outsiders because of their total and their points total and their goal scorers and their all-round performances this year. But I think now you're watching that game the other night and you think, well, actually now Bromley have only got to win 2 games to go up. We've only got to win 2 games to go up. Notts and Boreham Wood are the same. So I then do agree with him that now it's all to play for one of the more unfancied teams, so to speak, i.e. Boreham Wood and Bromley. So yeah, it's going to be a mix of nerves and excitement. And like you say, we watch those games out a week now where that nerves and excitement isn't necessarily in your belly, and then it starts to come today, and it'll be more so tomorrow. So it's dealing with the occasion, dealing with the expectation, dealing with the opposition, bringing our A game, and hopefully getting this team to Wembley.
And are those the types of messages that you've been trying to get across to the players this week in training then?
Yeah, I think we haven't really talked about the occasion as what have you, but we've got a mixture. We've got some experienced lads, we've got some real young lads, and like I said to you before, then we're lucky here that nearly every week we get big crowds. The lowest ones we had was like 5,600, 5,700 on a Tuesday night, I think. So the players are used to playing in front of a big crowd. They're used to great atmospheres. Like, for example, the West Brom when it's sold out. Yes, that was a different attitude because we were the underdogs and it was just, it was a lovely day and we nearly beat them. Whereas this is going to be expectation on us from 9,500 supporters and a town that really wants to get to Wembley and get this club back to where it belongs. So I don't think it's needed to be mentioned. I think the players know what's coming. Bromley won't be a team go, what are they all about? We know what Bromley are about. They know what we're all about. They got us on a really bad day the other day. So it's up to us in our own way to get our own back.
The match is heading for a sellout. Just a few remaining tickets left now. It's going to be a special occasion, isn't it?
It will be if you win. Yeah, if you win these games, it's a lovely occasion. It's like Wembley. I was lucky enough to be involved there. Only albeit a trophy final, not as important as a playoff final, and to lose there, whether it's a trophy final or a Sunday League Cup final at Wembley, it's a horrible feeling. But you'd rather get there and then deal with that then. To lose in a semi would be gut wrenching. Let's not beat around the bush. Then comes let's fall to next season. All the cliches you hear from people like myself when it doesn't go your way. But no, we've got to make sure it does go away because it's not a normal game. The extreme of emotions is unparalleled. Really, it's not just okay. We can put it right next week. It's done. Season's done if you don't win. And that's why it'll be an extreme high or an extreme low. And one team's going to go home with one of those emotions, and we've got to make sure it's the better one.
How much have you got to try and make the crowd an advantage for you rather than get the Bromley turning it the other way? How much have you got to really get the fans behind you from the beginning?
I think a recent example would be the Torquay game where virtually from the first whistle, we got them excited and everyone had a feel it could be a real good night at the office. Maidstone took a while to get going. Eastleigh took a very long time to get going. And both those games, we scored 7 goals and got 6 points. So we did something right along the way. I think when there's a crowd that big, as long as they see us on the front foot, playing the way the gaffer wants us to play with lots of chances and penetration runs and, hopefully goals, it's obviously going to lift everyone a little bit more. It kills the anxiety a touch, and if it's 0-0 in the 89th minute, we score a winner in the 90th minute, we'll all be buzzing, and it'll be we'd much rather do it an easier way and have a nice comfortable night like we did against Torquay, but no, it surely won't be like that against this Bromley team because they'll really believe they can come here and beat us, and we've got to make sure we put those feelings to bed, hopefully early on in the game.
You've gone all season without a goalkeeper on the bench, and I'm just wondering now with what's at stake whether that's something that you might be considering.
Yeah, definitely, it's been discussed, is an option, and has been considered. So yeah, you're right. I think it's you're not alone with that thought. I think a lot of people would think about it in a one-off game like this. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's definitely been talked about, Liam.
Because I think you were at the club, weren't you, when we went to Notts and Montgomery got injured, and you have to sort of weigh up whether to put one on there. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because like you say, you've gone all season without one, and then suddenly you might have to change. I
think it's that with big decisions, always try and weigh up the level of regret in your emotions. So the level of regret of, if we'd had a goalie on the bench, or the level of regret if we had that certain other outfielder on the bench, and that's sometimes how you've got to make decisions in football. And yeah, we'll see obviously what that decision brings come tomorrow. But like you said previously, it's something that's been discussed and needed to be discussed because it is a one-off game. And yeah, we'll see what the manager and us as staff decide to do.
And what about the players who have been out on loan? I think I asked you a few weeks ago whether any of them could maybe come back into the fold. Is there anything you can tell us on that one?
No, I think Jack Clark's contract's up this summer, so that's obviously discussion for the manager and Jack and whatever needs to be decided with that one. I think Danny Rowe and Tom Whelan and Michael Ghazi have got another year, so that's obviously discussion as between the manager and them and etc. But for now, they're not with us. I think we just felt that for this last maximum, it's going to be 2 weeks, isn't it? Hopefully it's definitely not a week. Since the season finished, that our season is done. You just felt the group we've got are in a good place, and those lads out on loan would certainly not disrupt the group or bring any negativity. But we've kept the group we've had towards the end of the season. The lads who have been on loan know that they can get called upon at any time. But at the minute, the manager's a big believer in players have got us this far. Let's stick with them, and the lads in and around who haven't been on the bench, for example, like Sheck's obviously come back for injury, but apart from that, you've had sort of Tim and Akinola, Tyrone missed out recently, etc. And just to name a few. So I think those lads are there if need be, if called upon. So yeah, the lone players won't be involved this weekend.
Ollie Banks missed out last week. Has he been able to get some training this week?
Yeah, trained last couple of days. He'll be fine. He'll be fit for selection. And like I say, it's a few headaches for us all because at Bromley we were really poor, but you look at it as a one-off game. Since then, we had a great win against Maidstone, but it's horses for courses. Sometimes you've got to mix things up for who you're playing against. Sometimes you don't. Gaffer's a big believer in consistency. At the same time, we know they've got some big threats that might have to be dealt with differently.
And Dobbs as well, he got an hour last week. Has he had any sort of reaction to that?
No adverse reaction. He's been absolutely fine. On his day, he's such a good little player, Dobbs. I think the time under his belt was really, was invaluable really for him. And now he's obviously available again for the squad tomorrow. And like I said to you before, whether he plays or not is another matter. But certainly that time he got under his belt against Maidstone was priceless.
And is everyone else okay? Have you got any doubts or anything like that?
No doubts at the minute. As I say, like I always say to you, day before, it'll be a very light session today. Been through a few bits and bobs on the training ground, and then sort of we've got to get ready for battle and get ready for hopefully could be a very historic day in the football club. But it's in our hands. It's the old saying. Now it's in our hands, and we've got to make sure that we get this town jumping because what a bank holiday it'll be if we win.